Okay, so is the law biased towards men? Is it biased towards women? Just about every time I do a post on this, someone's going to point out that the court is biased towards the opposite sex to what they are usually. So it's a bit more complicated than saying the law is biased, because the law has several components to it. Maybe you're talking about big picture and you believe it, but it's important to realise that these different parts all come into play when it comes to making an order. So look, I've picked out 5 different parts of the law that may or may not be biased, and I'm going to run through them with you right now. The first one is the actual statute. So if you're talking about children, you're talking about the Children Act 1989. So this is the actual statute that the court relies on. It contains things like the welfare checklists. It contains details of what the court can and can't do, and deals with just about every situation. Now, it is utterly gender neutral, apart from the fact that women always automatically get PR, but men don't. That's the first one. The second one are the actual rules that the court are going to follow when dealing with and interpreting statutes such as the Children Act, and that's things like FPR, which is the Family Procedure Rules, CPR, the Civil Procedure Rules, that will be Practice Direction, which is like the rules that the court has to follow, and that's how it needs to work. So that's regarding things like timetabling, evidence, who can do what, who can't do what Mackenzie Friends can do, what Mackenzie Friends can't do. Although I think that's more the next one, which I'm going to get onto, and that is practice guidance. Practice guidance is issued by the president of the family division, and he or she will basically say, in not so many words, you need to be bearing this in mind. So when it comes to a case, the judges are basically on message. They're basically working together to a common set of standards. But it's also worth remembering that the judiciary is, look, it's not like it's a top-down thing. Judges are going to interpret the law any way they want. The court has a wide ambit of discretion, is what they talk about. And that comes in nicely with the last one, personal bias. So when you're dealing with judges, magistrates, legal advisors, CAFCAS workers, social workers, solicitors and barristers, they are people. They're going to have their own personal biases. Now, don't get me wrong, if they're going to act on them massively, no, you've always got recourse back to the things like maybe an appeal if the law has been interpreted correctly. But there is a personal bias. It's worth remembering as well that solicitors have got are officers of the court, and they've got a duty to basically serve justice. So look, if you say the law is biased, it's not black and white. You know, your solicitor or your ex's solicitor may well have a personal interest in that they believe something firmly. Like, for example, they may be a feminist, they may be perhaps drawn towards men's rights. But the point is, the law is actually a whole host of things all put together. If you're not happy with it, you can appeal. And if you are got an existing case, sometimes it's not even worth appealing, but rather you take the knocks, you prepare for the next hearing, and it's worth remembering that every order made in a case is not a final order until a final order is made. What do you think? Is it biased?